Jai Swaminarayan. Last week, we were looking at the Guru-shishya relationship through the Gita. We understood how the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad, and rightfully so because it is a dialogue between a Guru and a Shishya, in which the highest truth of Vedic realization, Brahmavidya, is imparted. And through this dialogue, we were looking at one particular shlok, 434, in which Krishna Bhagavan asks Arjuna that if you really want to learn this Brahmavidya, this Brahmagnan, there are three things that you need to do as a Shishya. The first, which we looked at, was pranipat. It's not just about physically bowing, but giving yourself up to the Guru. Not just naman, but naman. Offering your mind, offering your buddhi, offering your ego, offering everything that you have, and accepting yourself as absolutely powerless in front of the Guru. That's just the first step though. When Arjuna actually falls silent at the feet of Krishna, he doesn't stop there. The second step that Krishna talks about is Pariprashna. Pariprashna means to ask questions. That's jignasa, the yearning to learn, to understand. Now, one would think that as a person of faith, we should not ask any questions, but we see through Arjuna's example throughout the Gita. There are 700 shloks in the Gita. 87 of them are attributed to Arjuna. Now, there's about 33 just in the 11th chapter where Krishna Bhagavan is revealing his cosmic form and Arjuna is doing stuti. Apart from that, the 54 other shloks which are scattered throughout the other chapters. In those 54 shloks, Arjuna asks 43 questions. He's asking about what is Brahm, what is sin, what is Prakriti, Purush, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Adhyatma, Adibhut, Adidev, Karma, Tyag. He's asking about all these different aspects of his sadhana. It means that sometimes we feel that maybe as an ideal disciple, we should not be posing any questions at all. And does asking a question in effect register our opposition? So was Arjuna really opposing Krishna? Was he a skeptic? There's a fine distinction between skepticism and sincere inquiry. Genuine inquiry stems from a positive desire to know, jignasa. Skepticism isn't about knowing. It's asking just with the intent to disbelieve, to disprove, to simply reject something. Nowhere do we see Arjuna rejecting Krishna. In fact, quite the opposite. Throughout his seeking answers to his questions from Krishna again and again, please show me the correct way, one clear method of what I should need to do. In the 10th adhyay, Krishna Bhagavan, when he's continuing to teach, Arjuna asks him again that I am really hungry for your knowledge. Bhuya kathaya truptihir shruvanto nasti me amrutam. I'm never satisfied. Bhadraya Swami, when he explains this shlok and elaborates upon it in the Bhashya, he talks about a person who is really hungry for liberative knowledge, or someone who is ailing and pining for medication to be relieved of his pain. This is the sincere, earnest desire of Arjuna to be blessed with this knowledge from his Guru, because at the base, he is asking questions, but who is he asking them to? This relentless pursuit to know begins first by seeking the Sharanagati. So at the very base, we begin with the Guru, and we actually end with the Guru as well. There used to be a slogan that we used to have printed on all our books in Sarangpur. Beautiful verse where it explains that Gnana Moolam Guru Krupa. Gnana Phalam Guru Krupa. The root of all knowledge is the Guru's grace. And the fruit of all knowledge is the Guru's grace. So you begin and end with the Guru's grace. So these questions for Gnan, for knowledge, come from a position of genuine inquiry. We see this in the Vachanamrita as well. Vachanamrita is like an Upanishad. It's a dialogue between Maharaj and his Paramahamsas and Haribhaktas, and they are asking questions. And they're asking questions from a genuine position of inquiry to go deeper, to learn, to improve. On the one hand, we have Muktanand Swami, very sincere, ideal aspirant, ideal sadhak. Maharaj in Gadada section 227 praises him that I am so confident that even if you were to be encroached by Maya, be entangled by Maya's web, with the force of your thoughts, you would be able to break free from that. But Muktanand Swami was so sincere, he asked the question, Maharaj, what should I do to ensure that I never get entangled in the first place? Maharaj is praising him, but he asks a question on how to improve. Sachidanand Swami is regarded as Premni Murti. He would bleed when he would have to depart from Maharaj. But it's him who's asking in Karan 11, what are the characteristics of true love? Sachidanand Swami, who was Atmanand Swami, who had realized himself as the Atma, beyond and distinct from the body. He is asking in the very last paragraph in Gadada section 1, number 38, what are the characteristics of Jivatma? Brahmanand Swami, Maharaj praises him in Chetalpur 1 as a yati, a celibate of the highest category. Yet that same Brahmanand Swami is asking in Loya 10 about a very deep aspect of brahmacharya. Nishkant Swami Maharaj praises him in Antya 26, Gadada section 3, number 26, that he is so strong in his Vairagya that even by coming into the company of women, he would stay aloof from them. But that same Nishkant Swami, he only has one question in the entire Vachanamrita in Karani 3, and that's about Vairagya as well. So these Paramahamsas, they too were asking questions, but it wasn't just for the sake of asking questions or to show how clever they were. It was a genuine desire to improve and to grow. That was the difference. For example, in Karani 8, Muktanand Swami asks Maharaj a very deep philosophical question. What is the Nirgun form of God and what is the Sagun form of God? But immediately he follows that up by saying, and what is the benefit to the Bhakta by understanding these forms of God? So on the one hand, it may seem very esoteric, but he brings it down to a very practical form. Because for them, learning, gathering information wasn't the end. That information had to lead to transformation. Questions lead to action. So faith is not contrary to questions. You can ask questions. But when it's grounded in surrender at the right Guru's feet, and then that brings us to the third point, when those questions are leading to action. Seva. Pranipat, Pariprashna, and Seva. Bhadraswami Swami, in the bhashya of this particular verse, he explains that Pariprashna, sincere inquiry, is bookended by first Pariprashna, surrender, and then it's preceded by questioning and succeeded by action. Only such faithful inquiry is really conducive to our spiritual progress. So here we are now talking about Seva. Guru nu Sevan. How do you really serve the Guru? How do you really connect with him? We look at this in a number of ways, very, very briefly, and through the examples of our Gurus themselves. The first, and actually the most obvious way, is to connect with him physically. We see that, for example, in the letters of Shastri Maharaj. Last week, we saw one particular letter where Shastri Maharaj is writing to Bhagaji Maharaj and telling him that you are our only adhar, you are our support. In that letter, he actually begins by counting days, he explains to Bhagaji Maharaj, it's been exactly 2 years to this day since we last had your darshan. Mate daya kari darshan samagam nu sukh apsho. In that letter, he tells Bhagaji Maharaj, actually the Hari Bhaktas who are going to read the letter to Bhagaji Maharaj, that by Bhagaji Maharaj's agna, Shastri Maharaj was doing Kathavarta to other people. So he says, by your agna, I have the peace of speaking about you to others. But અંતરમાં આપના વિયોગથી બિલકુલ શાંતિ નથી. માટે દયા કરી શાંતિ થાય એમ કાગળ લખશો. Without your samagam, without your darshan, I'm feeling absolutely distraught. I need to see you and have your samagam. At least write a letter to me so that I can have your connection there. This was his attempt to get as close as he could to Bhagaji Maharaj, that yearning for pratyaksh labh, or the best that he could do. We're very fortunate. We can't necessarily be with Mahan Sai Maharaj all the time, especially now during this lockdown. But we can at least keep in touch with him. We're blessed that we have a website. We have Guru Hari Darshan, we have Vichran, we have Guru Hari Ashirvad. Through those means, just as Bhagaji Maharaj was waiting for him, what happened today with Guruji? We were waiting to see Yogi Mahan Sai Maharaj's photos in Vichran, to hear his Ashirvad, to see Guru Hari Darshan. This keeps us connected with our Guru. Another way that we can stay connected with our Guru, this Joda and this Seva, is even when you're physically not present, what do we do? It's a very nice kirtan that was written about Pramukh Sai Maharaj. Paase raho to padi paye prema pujiye, dure jare jao tyare smarane rijaviye. When you're near us, we won't let go of your feet. But when you're far from us, smarane rijaviye. We'll stay close to you through your memories. In 1970, the last Sharad Purnima in Gondal, Yogi Bapa had returned from Pardesh, from Africa in London. And a new murti had arrived of Shastri Maharaj. And when Yogi Maharaj heard that this new murti had a marble murti, fully carved, this was supposed to go in the Akshadari. When he heard about it, Yogi Maharaj said, bring it to me. And they brought it to Yogi Bapa's room, and he saw it. When they opened it up, Yogi Bapa could not take his eyes off Shastri Maharaj's murti. For half an hour, he just kept looking at that marble statue. There was no pratishtha done. But he kept looking, and it wasn't an artistic critique, how are the hairs or the proportions or, the features. He kept looking at Shastri Maharaj's form. And at the end, after half an hour, he took his hand and all over Shastri Maharaj's face, and he said, Amara Guru Avajata. He had become immersed in the memories of his Guru by just looking at his murti. We may have certain favorite murtis, and they trigger all these different ideas and memories of our Guru. Once when Mahan Sai Maharaj was in Australia, just before his puja one day, there was a photo of Yogiji Maharaj, and he just kept looking at it. And then after he finished his puja, he told the santos, Akhi puja ma Yogi Bapa ji yaad aata tha. Just because of that one murti. These gurus, they have these triggers that they become immersed, they're infused with the Guru. Because their whole life they spent with their Guru, and every single aspect of it strikes these memories. They're living immersed in these memories. So smruti is a very important way, powerful way for us to remain connected with our Guru. Another very powerful way of connecting with the Guru is prarthana. Just when we're doing darshan and smruti, prarthana helps us bridge thousands of miles and time. In the year 2000, when there was a big shibir in Orlando and at a convention center, one of the Hari Bhaktas from Atlanta who had helped negotiate the deal for that shibir and the location and how everything would work out, his name was Kamal Bhai. After the very successful shibir finished, and Pramukh Sai Maharaj came back to Atlanta, Shantmurti Swami, he brought Kamalbai to Bapa for Ashirwad. That Swami, because of Kamalbai's efforts, we were able to have this wonderful venue, and everybody enjoyed the shibir. Kamalbai explained to Bapa, Swami, when I was dealing with the people at the hotel, I was very nervous because there was a lot of money involved, lots of resources that we needed. But every morning, before whenever I used to go into a meeting, every morning in my puja, I would lay out the questions to you. And it would all work out. When Bapa heard this, Bapa said, "Ke ha, tamaro roj phone auto to karo." When we speak to Swami, even in our puja, it reaches him. Just a couple of years ago, a sadhu in Saranpur wrote a letter to Mahan Sai Maharaj. It's a very emotional letter, and he explained to Swami, Swami, I have no buddhi to understand your swarup. You will have to do daya on me for me to understand who you are. And although I'd like to meet you, I want to talk to you, I have so many things to say to you, but I'll talk to you in my puja. And he said that in this letter that I don't expect a reply, there's nothing that I need to hear back from you. I just wanted to kind of open my heart out to you. Mahan Sai Maharaj returned that letter, and in that letter he annotated it. Where the sadhu had written, I don't know, you'll have to help me understand who you are, your swarup. He underlined that part, did an arrow, and he wrote, Shrijina Das Param Ekantik Sant. He revealed himself who he was. And then at the other place where he had written, I talked to you in my puja, again Swami underlined it, drew an arrow, and then wrote something on the side. Swami wrote, Ke pratna karocho, puja pratna karocho, te pocheche. Our sincere pratna in puja, maybe during arti, at any time during the day, it reaches our Guru and helps us connect with him. All of this, when we are seeing God, our Guru, when we are doing smriti of him, when we are praying to him, this is grounded in our understanding of who he is. Two things, love and understanding. Priti Purvak, Mahima Sabar. It's filled with who we are bowing to, who we are asking questions to, who are we doing darshan of, who are we remembering, who are we praying to. When Krishna tells Arjun, right at the end, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. What is that? That Mam and Ekam, two very important qualifiers to Sharanam. Our surrender or our relationship with the Guru is qualified by these two things. Ekam, it's a singular relationship. And Mam, it's Pratyaksh. It's the first person. When we have somebody in front of us, and to understand that as the Pragat form of God, Maharaj explains in Garada section 1, number 62, Nishchay Dvara Sambandh. Nishchay Dvara. It's through this conviction, this understanding of who we have that helps us become closer to the Guru. And in him we see God then. When that happens, then your whole world, your whole life revolves around your Guru. Nothing else matters. Once Mahan Sai Maharaj explained, this was back in 1992. He was drawing from Sarangpur 1, the Vachnamrut, in which Maharaj says that Anant Koti Brahmanu Sokhi, if you gather the luxuries, the opulence, the wealth, the gadgets, whether it's buildings or clothes or any of the luxuries of the world, or anything that could give you happiness, if you condense that and compact it as much as you could, it would form the murti of Pramukh Sai Maharaj. For us, whatever happiness, whatever peace, whatever contentment we can ever experience in the world is through our Guru. That is Sampurna Bhav. Through him we have attained God, and now there is nothing else left to attain. That is Nishchay Dvara Guru no Sambandh. It's a beautiful kirtan written by Nishkaran Swami, which he very simply but very powerfully talks about this relationship. He actually uses those words, Meto sukhna sindhu joire buddhi mari tyan budi. When I have this reservoir of happiness in front of me, my intellect has drowned itself. Mare aras paras e sathere biji samjana nahi undi. I have no understanding, nothing of any significance, because now I have this relationship with you. Mune aankh vichine antarare jota nathi avartu. I don't even know how to look by closing my eyes. I don't need to even meditate now, because mare pragata mukhi bijure chitte kai nathi chadatu. Besides the pragat murti in front of me, he has realized ke mane sakshat purna purushottam Bhagwan Swaminarayan Parabram Paramatma malya છે. I don't need to look anywhere else or do anything else. This is the Sampurna Bhav that Pramukh Swami Maharaj taught us that we should have through Nishchay, and which brings us closer to our Guru. And finally, which is a culmination of all of this, the love, the mahima, and this relationship that we hold with our Guru. How does it actually manifest? It manifests through Agna Palan, through obedience. Maharaj explains as well in Karan 11 that whatever we do, that ensures wherever we are, that murti, whether it's of God or our Guru, remains with us. Gunathan Swami gives the example of the kite. The kite may be far, but the string keeps it within, keeps our connection alive. It's our Agna that keeps our connection alive with the Guru. That's the 7 that we are striving for. And we see that in Arjuna's life. The entire Gita, the dialogue, ends the moment Arjuna tells Krishna. He folds his hand and he says, Karishe vachanam tava. That's the 73rd verse of the 18th chapter. After that verse, Arjuna has nothing left to say. Krishna has nothing left to say. The entire Gita ends there. Whatever follows is just description. But the dialogue has been complete. That is the ultimate Sharanagati, where initially we saw Arjuna, he accepts Krishna as his Guru, setting aside all his other buddhi obad. But here, when he folds his hand, this is the highest level of Sharanagati, the highest level of resolving his inquiries, the highest level of 7, where he puts aside all his tarka kutark, all his reasoning, his logic, his doubts, his questions, and absolutely submits to the will and word of the Pratyaksh God in front of him. When this happens, Guru Mukhite Sukhada Manere. Then he was absolutely appeased. His confusions had cleared, his doubts had been dispelled. He had absolutely returned to a place of enlightenment. And so, when we do this, we have this Yathartha 7 of the Guru, by understanding who he is and following through with his Agna. This is when we have a complete relationship with our Guru. So, the 3 words that this Gita Shlok explains to us, Pranipat, Pariprashna, and Seva. When we offer ourselves absolutely and unconditionally at the Guru's feet, whatever questions we may have about our sadhana, about our siddhant, we offer to him. And when we follow through those questions with action, so that we can do real 7, have real jodan of the Guru, whether it's through darshan, smriti, prarthana, through our understanding of him, our loving understanding of him as the pratyaksh form of God in front of us, and then following through that with obedience. That is when the entire circle of Guru-shishya sambandh is complete. We pray to our Guru, Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahan Swami Maharaj, that we too can fully offer ourselves at his feet, offer our genuine inquiry at his feet, and offer our obedience at his feet, so that we too can tadviddhi, learn that ultimate highest truth of Brahmavidya and connect ourselves with God and our Guru himself. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan.
Over the past 2 weeks, we have learned how to attain Brahmavidya, that is, liberative knowledge based on the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. Pujya Paramtattvadas Swami spoke to us about connecting to the Satpurush and offering ourselves entirely to him. Let us now listen to an Ashirvad from Swami Shri about the same topic from the Bhagavad Gita.
ભગવાન છે ધર્મનું સ્થાપન કરવા માટે આવ્યા છે અને ધર્મના સ્થાપન માટે એમને બધું કાર્ય પણ કર્યું. એમાં યુદ્ધ જે થયું છે મહાભારતનું યુદ્ધ જબરજસ્ત, કેટલી બધી સેના સામસામે હતી, છતાં પણ ભગવાનની પ્રતાપે કરીને પાંડવો 5 હતા, પણ છતાં એમની ભક્તિ હતી, એમનો પ્રેમ હતો ને એમની હતી, તો એમનો વિજય થયો. કારણ કે આસુરી જે છે એ આસુરી ભાવ બતાવીને બીજાને હેરાન કરવા, બીજાને મુશ્કેલી કરવી, બીજાને દુઃખ આપવું, ત્રાસ આપવો, એ ભાવના હોય છે. તો એ બધા રક્ષણ કરવા માટે ભગવાન પ્રગટ થઈને આ બધાનું રક્ષણ કર્યું છે અને એ પ્રમાણે આ ધર્મનું સ્થાપન કર્યું છે. જેમ ગીતાની વાત કરી આપણે સાંભળી, ગીતામાં ભગવાને જે ત્યારે પાંડવોના પક્ષે ભગવાન એટલા માટે હતા કે એ ભક્તો હતા, એમને ભગવાનને રાજી કરવા હતા. એટલે ભજેના ભગવાન છે. ગમે તે માણસ ભગવાનને ભજે તો ભગવાન એના છે જ. ભગવાનને એવો કોઈ ભેદ નથી, ગરીબ છે, તવંગાર છે, નરસા છે, પણ ભજે એના ભગવાન છે. આપણે પણ જરા જે માણસ આપણે સાથે સારી રીતે હળતા મળતા હોય તો આપણે એ જ થાય છે આ દુનિયામાં. એમ ભગવાનને પણ આવા જે પાંડવોને બધા ભક્તો હતા એમના તરફ પ્રેમ હતો જ. બીજાના પ્રત્યે પણ નહોતો પ્રેમ નહીં, પણ એમનો આસુરભાવ હતો. એટલે આસુરભાવથી ભગવાનને રાજી કરી શક્યા નહીં અને એમની સાથે યુદ્ધમાં જોડાઈ ગયા સામે, અને યુદ્ધ એટલે કર્યું જબરજસ્ત થયું. એટલે અને એમાં ગીતાનો ઉપદેશ પણ આવ્યો. ગીતાજી આપણે બહુ માન્ય છે ગ્રંથ આપણા શાસ્ત્રોની અંદર, અને એ ગીતા એ ત્યાં આગળ ભગવાન યુદ્ધની અંદર આ ગીતાની વાત કરે છે. હવે યુદ્ધ ચાલી રહ્યું છે અને પાંડવોની સેના પેલા કૌરવોની સેના સામે ઊભી છે. હવે તે ઘડી તો ક્યાં જ્ઞાન કરવા બેસે, તે ઘડી તો બીજું ત્રીજું બોલવાનું હોય થાય. પણ ભગવાને કહ્યું મારે તને જ્ઞાન આપવું છે. તેને જ્ઞાન આપ્યું બધું, અને એને આ પ્રમાણે કહ્યું કે આ તારા બધા જે છે એ બધાના તારા પ્રત્યેનો કોઈ પ્રેમ ભાવ નથી. એમ કરીને પછી મહારાજ એને એ પ્રમાણે જય કર્યો છે. અને અર્જુનને કહ્યું તારે યુદ્ધ કરવાનું છે, તારો ધર્મ છે, ક્ષત્રિય ધર્મ છે, પણ તું યુદ્ધ કર. કારણ કે આ બધા આસુરી વૃત્તિ છે તો એનો એ થાય. તો એ પ્રમાણે એની અંદર ભગવાને યુદ્ધની અંદર પણ જ્ઞાન આપ્યું છે. જ્ઞાન વગર આપણને શાંતિ ન થાય. દરેક મનુષ્ય છે એને પોતાને એવું જો જ્ઞાન થાય તો પછી એને આનંદ થાય. એટલે ભગવાન સર્વનું સારું કરવા હોય. આપણે સારું કાર્ય કરીએ છીએ એ પણ ભગવાન કરાવે છે. આપણે તો જે કંઈ નથી થતું કામ એ પણ ભગવાનની ઈચ્છા હોય છે. પણ પેલું કહ્યું કે મેં કર્યું ને આમ થયું ને કેમ ના થયું, એટલે આપણે જ્યારે ભગવાન તરફની ભક્તિ ઓછી થાય. માનસ જાણે મેં કર્યું કરતલ બીજો કોઈ, આદર્યા અધવચ રહે હરી કરે છે હોય. આપણે એ સાચી કે માણસ છે આપણે બુદ્ધિથી કરીએ કે આ મેં કર્યું છે, મારાથી થયું છે, આમ થયું છે, તેમ થયું, પણ મારાથી કંઈ થતું નથી. ભગવાનની અંદર શક્તિ છે, શક્તિ કરે કામ.
Thank you for joining us today and listening with such devotion. Bhagavan Swaminarayan has taught us the power of listening to Katha. It purifies our mind and brings us closer to God. So if this Katha helped you, give it a like, subscribe for more, and share it with someone you care about. Until next time, Jai Swaminarayan.